100 years ago, the Russian author Alexander Grin wrote, "The future seems to have stopped standing in its proper place." Well, that may be true of a lot of things in America 2017, but it's certainly fake news when it comes to television and the innovative efforts we have seen on the small screen from new and familiar names and faces this year. Now, before we launch into part one of our top 10 new shows of 2017, I first of all want to say, I hope you all had a happy holiday and great Christmas. Maybe you got yourself a fine sweater like I did. I also want to give some hearty shout-outs of honorable mentions to a few new shows that didn't make the final cut for us, but were in fine form this past year. If you haven't siseen them yet, you still have a few more days of lounging around to, and you should try to catch FX's Golden Globe-nominated Feud, Betty and Joan, Amazon's The Marvelous Ms. Maisel, Patriot and I Love Dick, and Hulu's Harlots. Now with that, here is the first half of the best new shows of this year. Starting off at number 10, we have a tie with Netflix's new Latino version of Norman Lear's One Day at a Time, and HBO and David Simon's probe into the early Big Apple days of the porn industry with the Maggie Gyllenhaal and James Franco-led The Deuce.
There's been a change in the law, something about community standards.
What about community standards?
Even when it staggers around a bit and it's filled to the brim episodes, you know the devil is on the doorstep for the characters of The Deuce, which often goes right up to the edge of cliche, but never over.
I went to war, I got hurt. And when I came back, there was an organization set up to help me and other veterans get the help we need.
Part of this One Day at a Time is the cultural divide, exemplified by Moreno's Live-In Lydia, which doesn't have an equivalent in the first One Day at a Time, really, and the sheer energy that all of the cast, including Isabella Gomez and Marcel Reese as Penelope's kids, bring to this. Coming in at number 9, but with some of the best talk you'd find on TV this year, is The Rundown with Robin Thede. Debuting on October 12th on BET, this weekly Thursday's late nighter from the former head writer of the still greatly missed The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore has not only quickly planted its own flag in the increasingly filled format, but done so with originality, insight, wit, and a whole lot of funny that others in the arena would do well to learn from. Next, we have another tie with FX and Marvel's February 8th debuting Legion and HBO's Emmy-winning Big Little Lies with Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon, Shailene Woodley, and a whole lot more that has resonated over the year.
Are you new to Monterey? Yeah, we just moved here a few weeks ago. You're gonna love it. You're so nice. This is Monterey. We pound people with knives to death.
It is the space in between, where the big ambitions of Big Little Lies meet the bends of the lesser qualities, that a solid series of broken people breaking themselves down floats on the prestige that is its main stars and HBO itself. And the truth is, for Big Little Lies, there is nothing small about that.
You're the key. The key to what?
This artfully conceived and executed, rule-breaking, mind-bending, creepingly paranoia-inducing, and sometimes Clockwork Orange homage-giving drama from Fargo boss and best-selling author Noah Hawley doesn't just challenge the way you'll watch TV, but also the entire ever-expanding superhero genre, and perhaps the way you see the world. Coming in at number 7, we have yet another tie. And look, before you slap me down for either a lack of discretion or juicing the deck, let me remind you, there was a lot of really good TV on in 2017. So just rest yourself there. With that, let's get in the ring with the CW's Riverdale, which is actually now in its second season, and Netflix's extraordinary 1980s set wrestling dramedy, Glow.
Lady wrestlers. I get it. Women can do anything men do, blah, blah, blah.
The Alison Brie and Mark Maron-led Glow is great. A ton of big hair, synth soundtrack, neon, killer kitsch, and in-the-ring fun that pulls you into its low-budget cable show within a show world of 1980s female wrestling, and, like the sleight-of-hand moves of WrestleMania and more, delivers pile drivers on gender roles, Hollywood sexism, and, well, you know what? You should just plant yourself on the couch next week and binge all 10 episodes.
Every corpse has a tale to tell, and this one has the touch of evil.
This KJ Apa-led offering from former Glee producer and Archie Comics chief creative officer Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa and the producing machine known as Greg Berlanti is part Twin Peaks, with a body literally found in the water, part Glee, part Beverly Hills 90210, part Diner, and part Outsiders from Francis Ford Coppola. Yes, that's my mix here, and yes, Riverdale, which had a preview at Comic-Con in San Diego last year, is really that good. Wrapping it up for us today, Dear White People, a show that, well, the 10-episode Netflix version of Justin Simeon's big screen Ivy League satire that debuted at Sundance a few years ago, it's actually better than the movie.
All right, y'all. 5 minutes left for Collins. Give me your worst.
Dear White People, the series, is certainly to be controversial to some, is also rare because it is actually better than the movie it derives from. The stories laid out in the 2014 version find deeper foundations and greater heights when given the larger landscape of the small screen. That's it for me now. My colleague Pete Hammond will be kicking off his top 10 movies of 2017 tomorrow. So I'll be back on December 28th with the top 5 of our top 10 new shows of 2017. And if you have some suggestions or guesses, tweet to me at DeadlineDominic ASAP. Until then, enjoy your leftovers. And by the way, check out the final season of The Leftovers on HBO Go or HBO Now if you haven't seen it already. It is some of the best TV this year or any year. Fact.